A few weeks ago, we tackled one of the biggest debates in mountain biking, Fox versus RockShox. Well, today we're back at it, except this time we're pitting SRAM and Shimano drivetrains against each other to see which one will come out on top. We'll look at the history of each brand, break down their various group sets, and see how they stack up against each other in terms of features, performance, and weight. So without further ado, join me in stepping back in time and seeing where these storied brands really got their start. Shimano, a Japanese company founded in 1921, entered the mountain biking scene in the 1980s with their first MTB-specific group set, the Dior XT. Fun fact, the name Dior was derived from deer, and apparently the sight of mountain bikers frolicking through the woods reminded the Shimano execs of this graceful animal. Unsurprisingly, Shimano quickly became a dominant force, and today is known for their methodical engineering and the reliable components that came as a result. SRAM, on the other hand, is a younger American company founded in 1987. They revolutionized the market with the grip shift, allowing riders to change gears by twisting the handlebar. Since then, SRAM has been known for its innovation and pushing the boundaries of drivetrain technology, and are responsible for many modern drivetrain trends, such as single chainring setups and wireless shifting. So clearly, both brands have some serious history in the sport. But how do their current offerings actually compare? Let's break it down, starting with Shimano. Shimano offers a range of drivetrains that suit different levels of riding. So to start, let's kick things off with one of their newest offerings, Q's. Unlike most mountain bike equipment, which is designed for racing, Q's was built from the ground up for recreational riders. This means they prioritize longevity and ease of use over weight savings and fast shifts. Next, we have Dior, which for years has been the golden standard for value-oriented mountain bike drivetrains, which unsurprisingly means that we sell a lot of bikes equipped with it, including the Polygon Siskiyou T7, Colossus N7, and more. For this video, we'll focus on the 12-speed variant, which uses much of the same technology you'd find on the higher-end Shimano drivetrains, delivering unprecedented performance for the price. One of these is Hyperglide Plus machining, which is applied to both the chain and cassette to make shifting smoother and faster. All 12-speed Shimano cassettes come with a 10 by 51 tooth gear range. All in all, a full Dior drivetrain tips the scales at right around 2,100 grams and should provide all the performance needed for most recreational riders. Next up, we have the SLX group set, which shares a lot of similarities with the Dior, except it shaves off a whopping 200 grams of weight, coming in at approximately 1,900 grams. One of the biggest ways it does this is by using aluminum for the largest cog in the set, a trend which we'll see grow as we move up Shimano's lineup. Speaking of moving up, it's time to talk now about Shimano XT, which in my opinion is the sweet spot of performance and price for well-experienced riders. A full 12-speed group set comes in at 1,800 grams, which once again is largely shaved by adding a second aluminum cog to the cassette. Another thing I love about XT is that it features Shimano's multi-release technology, which allows you to shift up 2 gears with just one throw of the lever. At the very top of Shimano's lineup is the XTR group set. This 12-speed system uses advanced materials like carbon fiber and titanium to keep weight at a feather-light 1,550 grams. Given its high price and exotic materials, you'll only find XTR on serious, race-ready bikes like the superior Team XF Issue R. Unsurprisingly, it offers precise and consistent shifting alongside its weight savings. One last thing to touch on before moving on to SRAM is Shimano's electronic shifting called Di2, which is available for both XT and XTR. These systems add a bit more weight due to the battery, but offer even faster shifts and more precise performance. Seeing as Shimano also makes e-bike motor systems, they've developed some pretty cool ways to combine these two technologies. My favorite being Free Shift, that allows you to change gears without pedaling. Pretty crazy, right? One slight drawback here is that Shimano's Di2 still relies on wiring, so if you're looking for that clean cockpit look, you'll have to head to SRAM, which just so happens to be what we're talking about next. Up first in the SRAM lineup is SX, SRAM's most affordable 12-speed drivetrain. In terms of gear range, SX and NX both get an 11 by 50 tooth cassette. A popular feature across SRAM's whole lineup is the cage lock button that allows you to lock the cage in an extended position, making many routine maintenance items substantially easier. Next is the NX group set, which we've already alluded to shares a lot of similarities with the SX. The biggest difference is in weight and reliability, which come down to improvements in material. Similar to what we said about the Shimano Dior, SRAM NX is a great option for those more casual riders, but where we really start to see the performance rank up is when we get to GX. Unsurprisingly, the GX gets its lighter and more consistent feel by using higher quality materials and sophisticated engineering. One of my favorite features on GX is the aluminum trigger shifter, which provides a crisp, positive shift feel. It also gets an increase in gear range, going from an 11 by 50 tooth cassette to 10 by 52. As for weight, a full GX group set comes in at 1,900 grams. GX is known for its solid performance and reliability, which is what makes it one of the most go-to options of SRAM's lineup. At the very top of SRAM's drivetrain offerings are the XO and the XX, which are both only offered as an electronic wireless system known as T-Type or transmission. SRAM made a lot of noise when they released these drivetrains a few years ago, namely because they did away with the derailleur hanger by mounting adjacent to the axle. In terms of weight, the XO T-Type drivetrain comes in at around 1,900 grams, and the top tier XX comes in just over 1,700 grams. SRAM also makes a T-Type version of GX, which, surprise surprise, uses less exotic materials and machining, bumping the weight up to 2,000 grams. Now that we've gone over each brand's drivetrain offerings, let's pit them against each other and see how they compare. At the entry level, we have Shimano's Qs and Dior versus SRAM's SX and NX. Most people will agree that at this price point, Shimano takes the win. Their budget-oriented drivetrains may be slightly heavier than SRAM's, but most industry experts agree that Shimano's smoother shifting and increased reliability is well worth the added grams. Moving on now to the mid-range group sets, namely Shimano SLX and SRAM GX. And this is probably where the competition is most competitive. Shimano's SLX is known for its durability and smooth shifting, while SRAM's GX Eagle offers incredible precision and speed. As if the decision wasn't hard enough already, their weights are nearly identical as well. So this one may come down to rider preference and riding needs. For the high-end comparison, we'll take a look at Shimano's XT and XTR compared to SRAM's XO and XX. This is a little bit of a tricky comparison because, as I mentioned earlier, SRAM's XO and XX are only available as electronic drivetrains. This design makes them strong and arguably more reliable, though that's debatable, but they cost and weigh significantly more. Once again, it's going to come down to preference, and riders who prefer maximal weight savings or want to keep batteries off the bike will be happy with Shimano's offerings. Whereas folks who prefer and can afford cutting-edge technology or increased durability will likely prefer SRAM's two T-Type drivetrains. Since we're already talking about SRAM's electronic offerings, we may as well compare them to Shimano's Di2 electronic shifting. For the most part, SRAM far outshines Shimano here, and their direct mount design and wireless interface makes Shimano's hardwired setup look antiquated in comparison. One exception though would be with Di2 drivetrains on EP801 equipped bikes. Like I mentioned earlier, Shimano's taken advantage of some pretty cool tech here, most notably their free shift system that uses the motor to spin the chainring and shift gears while coasting. Both Shimano and SRAM offer fantastic drivetrain options, both with their strengths and weaknesses. Shimano is known for their outstanding performance of the budget-oriented components, as well as their impressively low weight at the higher end, while SRAM is praised for the innovation of their high-end components. Funny enough, this takes us back to where it all started, with the history of these two brands. Shimano continues to refine their proven products, but can be slower to adapt to new trends, whereas SRAM is always looking for new, unique solutions, aggressively bringing products to the market. So, if you have any more questions about SRAM versus Shimano and which product is best for you, drop a comment below. And consider supporting this video by shopping at BikesOnline.com, where we carry a ton of SRAM and Shimano products. While you're down there in the comments, like and subscribe to Bikes Online channel where I'll be hanging out. After you've done that, get out there and get ripping.